Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zeng here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Rank where I climb the online Series 7 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. Today we're trying out a really interesting team that was built by 2017 World Champion Ryota Otsuba. I've linked his Twitter in the description below, and we have used a couple of Ryota's teams in the last couple of months. A lot of cool stuff on this team like Regidrago, Assault Vest, Physical Thundurus, Focus Sash, Scary Face, Taunt Krookodile, and Weakness Policy Metagross. You've also got Sun to complement this team, and with Weather being a little bit less prevalent in Series 7, Torkoal Venusaur is actually still a very, very strong duo. So there's a lot of cool stuff here. Regidrago is a Pokemon that feels a little overshadowed by Regieleki right now, but I wanted to try it out. I've played a couple practice games with this team, and I do think that Regidrago doesn't really come out very often with this team, but in the games that you can bring it, it just does so much damage. You can have speed control either through Max Airstream from Thundurus or Scary Face from Krookodile, which is pretty cool. And one of my favorite things about this team is the Thundurus Metagross duo. I've actually been using Assault Vest Metagross a lot, obviously, as you guys can see from my previous teams, but we haven't really used Weakness Policy Metagross yet, and so this is a really cool way to set up Weakness Policy Metagross, because often the Pokemon that's enabling Metagross is, something that doesn't do very much damage. For example, Brutal Swing Tornadus or maybe Raichu, but this Thundurus is actually a really, really big Dynamax threat, so what you can do is lead Thundurus Metagross and then pressure Dynamax with either Pokemon. Most players expect the Metagross to Dynamax, but Thundurus is a Pokemon that can also Dynamax and just put in a lot of work. Also, when you think about the moves that hit Metagross for super effective, a lot of the max moves, for example, Max Darkness or Max Phantasm, will lower your stats, subsequently raising Thundurus' attack stat via Defiance. So if you can bait those max moves out, it can be absolutely huge for Thundurus. Most Thunduruses I've seen at this point have been running like Life Orb, and you'll have Wild Charge, Fly, coverage move, and then Protect. So Assault Vest is really, really interesting as an option. And overall, this team just has a lot of cool components. So I'm eager to give it a try, and I hope you try it out yourselves. There's a rental code, so feel free to try it out yourself. And yeah, Ryota is linked in the description below. So thanks as always for watching. If you enjoyed, please share your support by leaving a like in the video. I'd really appreciate it. And question of the day, I want to know what your favorite battle theme from Sword and Shield is. Let me know in the comments below. Also, one quick note, I know a lot of you are probably wondering when WBE finals will be going up. Wolfie and I have not played yet, and it will be delayed until next Sunday, mainly because we had a really, really busy week, and both of us actually played in the Players' Cup 2 today, so we didn't really have time to, prepare for WBE finals. So that will be delayed, but, results in a better finals, I think. So I hope you tune into that next week. And so, yeah, let's get started with today's episode. I ended up playing the Players' Cup 2. I actually edited my Regigigas team because I think Regigigas is actually really good and really valuable. And the Regi mode was really good. I ended up throwing Raichu and Celesteela on the team over the Blacephalon Colossal Core, but ran into some matchups where I was unfortunately not able to bring those, so I was mainly relying on Regigigas, and the games were really, really close. And I think a player actually is undefeated right now in the Players' Cup 2 with Regigigas and Weezing. So I hope they take it and go all the way, because like I said, I think this duo is more than just a joke and more than just a meme. I think it's very, very seriously competitive. So sad I couldn't make it further in that tournament, but looking forward to seeing how the final games kind of shake up. So, first game of the day, we're going up against G-Moltres, Landorus, Fini, Torracat, Regieleki, and Kartana. Okay. This is definitely a Thundurus game. Like, I think Thundurus may just sweep through this entire team because my opponent has two Intimidators and they have the Moltres. So I'm going to use the Metagross as bait here, basically, and I think we definitely want to Dynamax the Thundurus in this match. I think Venusaur Torkoal is a very easy 2 to have in the back here. Regidrago would be kind of cool. It actually does decent damage here. It's better, like a Draco Meteor can really just wreck things, but Venusaur Torkoal is very consistent here. I mean, I'm planning on maxing Thundurus, right? So that's going to do a lot of damage and put in a lot of work. You know what? I'm going to give Regidrago a shot. This is our first time trying it out, so why not? And for the last one, I think I'm actually going to bring the Torkoal just because it gives... Actually, do I even need to worry about Kartana? Like, what does Kartana do that threatens me here? Not much, right? Alright, let's bring Venusaur. Venusaur can just launch a Leaf Storm into Fini, and that does a lot of damage. So, yeah. Anyway, I was saying, like, Regigigas is... we've obviously used a little bit on Road to Ranked, and I think... it's insanely good in Best of 1, and I think in Best of 3, it's also actually pretty good as well. So, I want to explore that core a little bit more later down, in the road, but for now, I just want to try out all these different Pokemon and see what sticks. So, it's going to be Regieleki and the Moltres, which I'm okay with. I mean, the big question here is, do you just go ideally my opponent goes Volt Switch into Moltres and then Max Darkness into Metagross, because I'm definitely Dynamaxing the Thundurus here, and what I want to do, I think, is Airstream. I don't know if Lightning KOs Moltres, that's why. So I want to max Airstream into the Moltres, and I think just Earthquake here turn 1. The logic behind this is it covers pretty much everything. The one thing I don't want to happen is for my opponent to outpace me, and they cannot KO Thundurus. AV Thundurus is actually probably one of the best counters to Moltres. So I think because Thundurus is just so good into this matchup, I just want to prioritize Dynamaxing it. Could I Dynamax Metagross? Yeah, but like my opponent could just go, self-Volt Switch into Max Darkness on Metagross turn 1, and that wouldn't be good. And they Dynamax the Moltres, which is fine by me. The other thing here is that I want to consistently stay above my opponent's speed, so by Airstreaming, I will guarantee that Thundurus will go before the Moltres, which is pretty good, right? So if they go self-Volt Switch here, then this is really good, because I get an EQ off against Regieleki. I think a Screens here would make sense, but the other cool thing is, do you anticipate that on physical Thundurus here? Is going to be the Reflect, so nicely done on their end. Still fine, though. I'm okay with that, especially if you're going for Max Darkness into Metagross. I mean, actually, like, you're not going to max Airstream in this position, right? You really should be at Max Darkness, so if that is the case, you're just going to proc my Weakness Policy, and this is exactly what Thundurus wants. Okay, so we get the Earthquake off, which is nice. I don't want to proc a Weakness Policy on Moltres yet, which is why I'm very distinctly not using super effective attacks against it right now. And, wow, they actually max Airstream. Okay. Into Thundurus, but I mean that barely does anything. So I think they're probably just hoping for me to activate their Weakness Policy, which makes some sense, but I am distinctly not going to do that right now. Okay. Regidrago and Venu in the back. I'm content, I think, just going for a max Airstream here into the Regieleki. And I don't want to proc a Weakness Policy still, because I don't want to take a +2 Max Darkness. Like, Thundurus should probably survive that, but like right now I'm sitting at a really, really healthy HP stat, right? Or HP number. And Moltres, if it Max Darknesses at any point, will enable Thundurus and get me to +2 immediately. So I don't need to KO Moltres, because in fact I want to bait out the Max Darkness right now into my Thundurus. So I feel okay about this position right now. And I'm glad, like, that's why I didn't want to max Lightning turn 1. The thing is that if you activate Weakness Policy on Moltres, I mean, it's just, so much scarier. Pretty good damage from Volt Switch there, honestly. So, let's see what comes in. Either way, Airstream, continues to boost up our speed, which is nice. Tapu Fini comes in, which I'm okay with, because obviously I can max Lightning that slot later on. I wonder if you're Misty Seed here, I'd be surprised. Like, it's definitely Policy, right? Yeah, there's no way it's not. Okay. Okay, so Thundurus gets another max Airstream off, and that is a crit. That's definitely pretty fortunate there. I mean, the reality is that it was going to be in KO range from a max Lightning, but that increase in damage just makes the matchup a lot easier for us now, so yeah, I'll take it, but definitely fortunate. And just Iron Head for a little bit of chip here. It's actually pretty good damage into Moltres, and they continue to Airstream as well. Okay, so you can see how they're basically playing around my Thundurus, which makes sense, but it's fine, right? Like, I'm not really threatened by your Moltres right now. I could just go for a third Airstream, honestly. I'm kind of down for that, because, like, your Moltres isn't really doing damage to me. Like, I could double up into Tapu Fini right now. I've got Regidrago and Venu in the back, so if we knock out Fini, that's the biggest threat to Regidrago out of the way. I could also just max Lightning Ice Punch Moltres here, but I don't know if I outspeed with the Metagross without getting a speed boost here. I guess they're not going to max Darkness though, right? But Airstream just ensures that we're faster next turn, so I'm content to just Airstream Iron Head into Fini here. That gets rid of the main threat to Regidrago as well, which I'm okay with. And at +3 speed, it means I outspeed everything. Yeah, like even the Regieleki now will outspeed, right? Because Regieleki does not have the speed boost. So if you're actually looking for a counter to Galarian Moltres, AV Thundurus honestly might be the best answer. Yeah, so we don't KO the Fini, but that's fine. Iron Head will guarantee the KO. So what's also interesting is now I can actually just Brutal Swing into my own Metagross, right? Like, we haven't done that yet, but that's actually a possibility. So they continue to Airstream as well. That's fine. Like, my opponent's Moltres just spent 3 turns Airstreaming my Thundurus, right? Like, I'll take that. It's not really that scary. So we should KO the Fini with Iron Head here. We're at +3 speed now. Gosh, Regieleki is so fast. I actually don't even know if we outspeed with Metagross at +3 speed, but I believe this Metagross is faster than most Metagrosses. Like, it's more invested in speed. Since a lot of Metagrosses don't even have any speed investment, you'll go like max HP, max attack. I think this Metagross is being able to be faster is good. Okay, so Regieleki comes back out to no one's surprise. We have the Regidrago and Tapu Fini in the back. I obviously have Volt Tackle here. I don't know if that's enough for a KO. +3 speed. +3 speed. 2 turns of Reflect. Moltres is also +3 speed, right? I want a Brutal Swing here on it. I just don't. I don't have Wild Charge KOs. That's my problem. But Brutal Swing Ice Punch should definitely KO. I guess the only downside to this play is if my opponent... I was going to say self-Volt Switch, but I don't think you can really pull that off right now. Unfortunately, we don't KO Regieleki. If we picked up the knockout there, I'd feel very good about our position. So now the question is, how fast is the Moltres? They are faster. They do get the Fiery Wrath off. Okay. But we survive with Metagross. Nice. And we're faster. Okay, big. That's huge. That should be a KO. Perfect. Okay, so we're up 4-2. I mean, Regieleki, I'm sure, gets a KO into something here, but... Ooh, E-Web. But we avoid it. That's a big avoid. Although... Yeah, no, sorry. I thought it missed the Thundurus at first. But yeah, obviously that would have picked up a double KO. I mean, it really comes down to what my opponent's last one was going to be. We definitely got lucky in this game. We got that crit, we got that avoid as well, and I think that even though I feel okay about how I played this, they definitely have made the match significantly easier for us. So let's see what the last one from my opponent's end is. It's going to be Landorus. Okay, so I'm fine with that, especially with very fast Metagross. I think here we can just go Ice Punch into the Regieleki and Draco Meteor. I mean, if you're my opponent, you Earthquake here, right? If you're Scarfed, what's the potential item? I just don't think let Lando... I also don't want to risk missing, though, so I could Dragon Energy. I'm down to Dragon Energy and Ice Punch here into Metagross, or Landorus, actually. Like most Landoruses, we should outspeed. So, yeah, we get the Ice Punch off. Nice. That's a KO. So definitely some good fortune in this game, but the main thing is that we were able to basically waste my opponent's Dynamax, right? And that was huge. Had Regieleki picked up the double KO there, it would be Landorus plus the Regidrago against very low HP Regieleki. Sorry, Landorus plus Regieleki against my Regidrago and the Venusaur. Which I feel like favors my opponent, but the awkward thing is that if you're running Earthquake, you obviously can't EQ. Otherwise, you're just going to KO yourself. So, like, in that position, I can maybe double protect. Get my opponent to knock themselves out via Earthquake. And then I think Venu should definitely survive an Earthquake as well. So, given that we had Life Orb as well and the Draco Meteor, I feel like we were probably okay in that endgame, but it was definitely a big dodge. And part of me wonders if I could have just gone on the offensive instead of going for Brutal Swing, just KO the Regieleki in that position. And just Ice Punch into... Yeah, actually, that probably would have been better, because my opponent was going to activate the Weakness Policy anyway. So I didn't need to activate my own policy. Okay, more Regieleki stuff here. Is this a Torkoal Venu game? Actually, wait, Thundurus is still pretty good here. Especially because... if you go Spectrier, you'll Phantasm and you'll activate our ability. Thundurus, Metagross... Krookodile on this one? Like, high horsepower, Darkest Lariat, it's actually kind of valuable, I think. But then it means no Venu Torkoal, and Venu Torkoal feel like a very consistent core to have in the back. Okay, let's just go Thundurus Metagross again. Well, I'm glad Regidrago came out in that last game, but I do think there were some small opportunities to play better, and I can't help but feel like I didn't use my position well enough, is what I want to say. So, yeah, I don't think I needed a Brutal Swing. With Reflect being up, I think I should have just Wild Charged to KO the Regieleki, and then just Iron Head into the Moltres, especially because Moltres was faster than Metagross, which isn't surprising, right? Like, even with max speed Metagross, Moltres can still outspeed without full speed investment. And most Moltres are running max speed, or close to it nowadays. Tornadus and Indeedee. Okay. How do I feel about this? I think it's going to be a Tailwind turn 1. And so what's interesting about this position is, do I give my opponent the free switch in? I suppose I could just Dynamax my Metagross and Steel Spike immediately to get some boosts up, but maxing some stuff here in the back is compelling. You're also needing Mail, which might mean Fake Out. Okay, but as long as you don't activate the policy on your own Metagross, I think it's fine. So as long as I Hailstorm into Tornadus, it's unless my opponent makes the big brain play of switching Indeedee out into Metagross, which they don't. This should be a KO onto Tornadus turn 1 with Hail. Even if you get Tailwind up, as long as your weakness policy isn't activated, I feel okay. So let's see. Yeah, I mean, is it gonna Fake Out? Does it have Fake Out? That'd be kind of crazy. Okay, they don't have Fake Out. That's good. I mean, with Indeedee Mail, normally it's like Imprison, Trick Room, Expanding Force, Filler. So they just go E-Force, which I'm totally okay with, because like, I get the Brutal Swing off. That's so much damage in an Indeedee. Like, this is the thing. It's like offensive Thundurus, right? So you actually put in work. So that's a lot of damage turn 1, which is good. And I have Venu Torkoal in the back, which I think is pretty good to have as well. So, like, I have a +2 Metagross, whereas my opponent, even if they bring in Metagross, I guess if you have Mystical Fire, you could self-Mystical Fire to proc a policy, and that'd be interesting. Like I said, normally you're running Prison, Trick Room, Expanding Force, and then you have Filler. And that Filler very well may be Mystical Fire to self-proc policy. That would be interesting. So I could have Steel Spiked there into Tornadus. Maybe that was the play, actually, because I also think Indeedee is likely to have Focus Sash in this position. So I think Metagross should come out here. Oh, they bring out Regieleki. Huh. Okay. Regieleki. That is interesting. That is interesting. I feel like Metagross should be your last one, right? But can you KO my Metagross here? I don't think so. I want to get a guaranteed attack off here. So I think I'm fine just going Wild Charge here into the Indeedee and... what do I want to do here? I'm just afraid of a Volt Switch into a Landorus here. What would my opponent have in the back against this team? Like, Metagross makes some sense, but why would you bring out Regieleki here? Okay, Steel Spike's the most ifest option because it's guaranteed damage regardless of what comes in, but they just T-Bolt. Okay, I don't even know if you KO us here. I don't think you do. Yeah. Okay. They do KO Thundurus, though, which is unfortunate, because if Thundurus survives there, we just knock out both Pokemon this turn and win. But Steel Spike here should be a KO. Yep. Got Torkoal Venu in the back. I actually didn't think Thundurus would go down there. So another turn of their Tailwind down. This is still tricky. I think it's gonna be Torkoal, though. Yeah. Yeah, I think Metagross is probably my opponent's last one, right? It's Landorus. Actually, that's even a bigger problem for us. That actually just wins it for... Yeah, so they had Landorus in the back, which makes sense. Maybe it's fine, actually, because you have to... I have Yawn. And I think Yawn might save us here. Unless you just self-EQ, but that'd be bizarre. Because you can't KO my Metagross. Actually, unless you have Mystical Fire. But I actually think the play might be to just Yawn into Lando here and Hailstorm into it. Because if we get the Yawn off, I can double protect and then Venu can win the game. Oh, but if I'm Hailstorming, I'm getting rid of my own Hail. They made the big brain play. They didn't max. That's the game-winning play. Unless we survive an EQ here with Torkoal, but I'm not counting on it. Nicely done. Really well done. So I could have protected my Pokemon there and let my opponent KO themselves. And then if Torkoal doesn't take the Quake damage, yeah, double protect would have won it for us there. Now Landorus can just Dynamax and win this. This was very fast-paced and offensive. I didn't think they would eat... Oh, they're Life Orb too. Okay. So, like, had I just double protected there, you KO your own Indeedee, and then Landorus can't knock out both Pokemon with Earthquake, so then I can just Ice Punch Yawn. Because we have Yawn, I think we win the game. I don't have Sleep Powder. If we had Sleep Powder, there'd still be an out, but we do not. Is there any way to win this? Nah, Max Quick should be a one-shot here, so I guess I hope for a crit. Actually, I mean, Lando should outspeed us here. I played this game assuming they had Metagross in the back this entire time, too, and that caught me off guard, so... Thundurus Metagross was a fine lead. Like, we had the right Pokemon here. I think if we double protected there, we would have been good. Because, well, I mean, Ice Punch doesn't one-shot the Landorus, so maybe my opponent still pulls it off. But good EQ there, and I didn't... From, like... In my head, I didn't process that the Landorus would be faster than the Indeedee, which shouldn't be that crazy. Or sorry, the Indeedee would be faster than the Landorus. And that makes sense. And Indeedee is base 95, right? Landorus is base 91, so they're both max speed, most likely. But when I was thinking about the scenario, I just thought the Landorus would outspeed the Indeedee, and you'd have to... If you Earthquake, then you don't KO the Torkoal. So, should have double protected there. That would have been better. The risk of a double protect there is if Landorus maxes and just one-shots the Metagross there, then you can just one-shot the Torkoal in the subsequent turn. So it wasn't like double protect was a guaranteed play on my end either. But it would have worked out better than what I ended up going for. Life Orb Lando is cool too. You know, I was using that obviously with the Whimsicott team, and I think that Life Orb Dynamax Landorus is such a big threat in this format. So I'm a big fan of it. But well played by my opponent. Yeah, I wonder what the Expanding Force damage against the Thundurus look like, because I thought there was a chance Thundurus could survive that, to be honest, and the fact it didn't was sad. I also could have gone for the knockout onto Indeedee instead of the Regieleki, but can't help but think Regieleki was a fine target there. Okay, this opponent does not have a Dragon Resist, so I feel like Regidrago might be the move here. What am I worried about? Pheromosa and Glastrier? That could be a problem. I could go Torkoal Venu, but they have their own Venu, which scares me. Thundurus Metagross doesn't feel as good here because of the Torkoal and the Glastrier. I guess this is still fine, though. This is a game where I could really justify bringing everything, honestly. But if I go Thundurus Metagross, you can just speed swap into Glastrier and then max Ice into Thundurus, and that doesn't seem very good. So perhaps I go Torkoal Venu with... Like, Thundurus doesn't do much damage in this game, so Metagross, and then I kind of want to bring Regidrago. I think this could be a decent Regidrago game. And this might seem kind of crazy, but a Dynamax Regidrago is not off the table here. If we knock out the Glastrier, then Dynamax Regidrago can do so much damage with his Dragon-type attacks. So, that sounds kind of crazy, but I think there's a possibility. Not to get you guys too excited, but there is a possibility. So, let's see. With Sun, what am I worried about? Even if you go with your Sun, that's fine, especially because I have Life Orb Max Quake. The main thing is that I want to outspeed the Pheromosa, and if I have Sun out, then even if you go Pheromosa and Glastrier, which I think is probably the scariest lead, I can Yawn, and that's pretty good. Yeah, that was a nice play by my opponent last game with the EQ. Well done. Oh boy. So I feel like having Yawn here gives us the advantage. We set out the Sun first. I think the safest play here is the Dynamax Max Quake into Torkoal and Yawn into Venusaur. So I'm gonna go for that. Because we get a special defense boost. I guess they very likely could just go for the exact same play as me here. We max first though, which is good. I don't know if we one-shot Torkoal though, that's the thing. Like, it's Life Orb Max Quake and Torkoal Spadef is not very good, so I would think it's okay, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Okay, so Venusaur maxes. And if their Venusaur maxes and we get a Yawn off against it, it's huge, but they just risk the Sleep Powder turn 1. Okay. That's fine if we one-shot the Torkoal. If not, this could be problematic. We get the Max Quake off. Okay. That's not bad then. Like, yeah. I think our play here was pretty safe. The special defense boost is nice as well, but like my opponent's Venusaur is pretty useless this subsequent turn. But I think what they might do is bring out Trick Room now, try to set up Trick Room, and then sweep me with Glastrier under Trick Room. That's a possibility. Like Dusclops could come out here. Yeah. Okay, if you're bringing Dusclops, how do I want to approach this? I mean, I think the Venusaur stays in here, quite frankly, so I'm just going to Vine... Ooh, I could max Ooze here. I might Ooze this turn so I can Vine Lash the next turn to get maximum mileage out of it. Because that also increases Torkoal's special attack, which is kind of nice. So max Ooze into Venu, break a potential Sash, and Burning Jealousy here. Actually, I don't want to Burning Jealousy, I'd rather Yawn. Reason being is because I don't want my opponent to activate Policy. Yeah, they go for Sludge Bomb, but we should survive that, and we've got Citrus. Oh, we take that with no problem. Yeah, I forgot we got the Spadef boost too, that's nice. Okay, so we Ooze, good damage. Probably gonna Vine Lash the next turn. There's no point in Vine Lashing this turn onto Dusclops, because like it's not gonna get KO'd anyway. Okay, we take another turn of sleep, unfortunately, but that's fine. Trick Room goes up now. So this turn it's definitely a Vine Lash into Clops. I don't think you risk switching out, to be honest, so I actually want to just Yawn, because my opponent's in this awkward position right now where you don't want to switch in Glastrier. Because you risk just eating up a fire type attack, right? So my opponent probably just wants me to knock out the Venusaur. So I'm very intentionally not going to target the Venusaur. Okay, they go for Will-O-Wisp, that's fine, don't care about that. We take a 3-turn sleep, which is a little frustrating, I have to say, but it's fine. I'll get the Vine Lash off. Okay. I didn't think it would just KO after the extra chip, but jeez. And because they went for Sleep Powder there, that might have actually helped us. Oh, okay, so Dusclops survives. But I think that's okay. Because thing is, now I can just Burning Jealousy. I still have Metagross and Regidrago on the back, so our Dynamax is over, sure, but I think it's fine. Because we're guaranteed to wake up here with the Torkoal. So I can just pick up a double KO here, I think just Sludge Bomb and Burning Jealousy. And once the Glastrier comes in, I just put it to sleep with Yawn. Okay, Venusaur protects. That's a good play. So does it protect? Protect Sleep Powder. They're going to Pain Split. I actually did not want to KO Dusclops here, because now it gives them a free switch in. But I think we will pick up the knockout, unfortunately. Which might not be great for us, actually. Let's see. Burning Jealousy. Actually, maybe we don't KO. No, we're going to KO, I'm pretty sure, with Vine Lash damage. Yeah. If not that, then the poison. So what would have been better would have been to just pick up a double KO, because it would have just stalled out my opponent's Dynamax. I think it's still fine, though, truth be told. I also haven't revealed Yawn, right? So there's nothing stopping me from clicking Yawn into Glastrier and just disabling that for the remainder of the game. And Trick Room is expiring too, right? Only 2 turns left, which is pretty good. What's the alternative? Just Burning Jealousy here. My opponent Max Quakes. I Leaf Storm. And Burning Jealousy does really good damage here. I'd activate a Policy though, and I don't really want to activate a Policy. So instead I'm going to Sludge Bomb into Venusaur and Yawn into Glastrier, I think. Yeah, that feels fine to me. I think because you always Dynamax Glastrier here, and once I get the Yawn off with Trick Room expiring, your Dynamax is going to end, and then I can just use Metagross and Regidrago to clean up. But the Protect on Venusaur was good. I thought this was pretty much a sealed up victory. The other reason I didn't want to Burning Jealousy here is in case my opponent goes for the double Protect with the Glastrier, which I think is a possibility. Sorry, double Protect with Venu. Yeah, that's actually what they opted to go for. Wait, they outspeed us? Oh, is this not Min Speed Torkoal? Well, we survive. Which is a testament to how bulky Torkoal is, so good job Torkoal. But I didn't, yeah, I should have double checked that. I think Torkoal might be speedy. Because Min Speed Torkoal should outspeed Glastrier, right? Glastrier is base 30. But we get the Yawn off now, which is huge, and that should effectively seal up the game. But that could have gotten really bad, actually. I should have double checked the Torkoal speed stat. Okay, Sludge Bomb one-shots, nice. So that should be the game here, then. Sunlight's gone. Doesn't really matter with Glastrier guaranteed falling asleep here. Yeah, I just need to double check the Torkoal speed here, because I thought it was min speed, just because like that's the standard, but I could see it being a little faster. Although I can't help but think outspeeding Glastrier under Trick Room would be pretty ideal. Yeah, it's not min speed, it's actually bold. Interesting. Okay. Well, Now, if you play with this team, you know you don't have to be Glastrier. That was my bad. I should have double-checked that, but it doesn't really matter. It would have mattered if I didn't... Well, actually, would it have mattered? Even if I didn't get the Yawn off, could I win 3v1? I think most likely. Because there's only one more turn of Trick Room, so like I would have just brought in Metagross and double protected, right? Yeah, because I got the knockout onto Venu, but Venu did get the double protect off. Okay, they Quake here to Torkoal. What was I gonna say? Yeah, so Torkoal being able to survive that is so clutch. Like, man, I think this body press Yawn set, if you're min speed, could actually be a really good check into Glastrier under Trick Room. Especially because I think it's max HP, max defense, right? So that's pretty neat. I was just thinking... Oh, I poisoned it. So I should have Leaf Storm there because the poison means I actually don't put it to sleep. But it doesn't really matter with Regidrago and Metagross in the back. I can just Iron Head and Dragon Energy. So if Max Quake picks up the one-hit KO there, since Sludge Bomb still KOs the Venusaur, then it's a 3v1 with one turn of Trick Room left. So I don't get the Yawn off, but I guess effectively we're in a similar scenario, actually. But now I can just bring out Regidrago and Metagross, and, you know, Glastrier is strong, but it needs to pick up a knockout every turn. And it wasn't able to accomplish that in this game. The main thing we did in this game was deny the weakness policy setup, right? Like, that's the big thing. Just double check field conditions. +2 Spit Def. I think we can just go Dragon Energy, Iron Head. I'm sad, though, because when you go up against a Maximon, you don't get to see the animation, but... There's Dragon Energy. And even at +2 Spit Def, do a lot of damage to it. Nice. So, main important thing in this game was not letting Trick Room... letting Trick Room go up was fine, but not letting my opponent get the free switch-in into the Glastrier. And ultimately, us taking the 3-turn sleep on Torkoal may have actually helped us because our opponent ended up going for a Sleep Powder the 3rd turn of sleep. So... At the moment, I was like, oh, if I just wake up here, I should be... I mean, granted, I could have just went Burning Jealousy there, and that could have just picked up a double KO, so maybe that would have been a better play. But that was a really interesting match, and it shows you how Sun is still viable in the format. And this Torkoal set, I think, is specifically very interesting in dealing with Glastrier. So if you're having trouble with Glastrier, honestly, yeah, I would consider max HP, max defense, like Yawn Torkoal, because it puts a lot of pressure against Trick Room teams. Like, Yawn was a really good answer against Trick Room. I loved using Yawn Togekiss to stop, like, the hard Trick Room teams in, you know, pre-Series 6. And I think this Torkoal set was something that I'd seen a little bit of usage towards, you know, I think, like, what, Series 5? Series 4 or Series 5. Mainly because it could even survive a Max Rockfall from Tyranitar. So if that doesn't tell you how bulky it is, then I don't know what will. So, yeah. Alright, last game of the day. Whimsicott. I don't like Whimsicott because I like going first. It's not ideal. Dracovish is very scary here. Whimsicott Mamo I think is a very big threat. Whimsicott Mamo. Thundurus Metagross. Regidrago's tempting, but they have a Mamoswine and a Whimsicott, so I don't think it's it. It's probably just Chandelure Torkoal again, to be honest. This is just the most consistent 4. Krookodile's not good here because we can't even intimidate the Mamoswine with Oblivious. So, I don't like this matchup too much, though, because this team will really thrive if you just go first with Thundurus. But because my opponent has Tailwind and because Mamo kind of hard counters Thundurus and I mean, it is a one-shot Metagross, so the thing is if you lead the Mamo here, I could just switch out into Torkoal from Thundurus and Max Steel Spike Mamoswine turn 1. Even if you Max Quake into my slot there, I'll survive. I go Whimsicott Regieleki. Okay, I'll take it. I think things could have been much worse. The only question is what I want to do right now. Okay. You can see screens going up. Trick Eject button, honestly, is some, like, possibility here as well. Man. The fact that that may be a thing is very scary, actually. Earthquake here is guaranteed damage and breaks. Like, I actually don't want to Dynamax here because I could really see Eject button coming out right now, especially with Regieleki. Like, that's just such a natural pairing. Like, I kind of want to Wild Charge into Regieleki and Earthquake here. Like, that gets a KO onto that or most of the things that want to Volt Switch in. But they just Tailwind. Okay. I don't know. The thing is, if you Dynamax and you get Tricked Eject Button, you'll just like lose turn 1 basically. Okay, they Volt Switch into Thundurus. What would you bring in here? If you bring in Moltres, that'd actually be pretty nice, because I get a... actually, maybe not, because I'll just activate a Policy. Maybe... Okay, they bring out Mamoswine. Yeah, Steel Spike into that slot. Or Iron Head would have been nice. But it's not awful, honestly. Like, I'll take it. Things could be worse, I would say. Good damage into Mamoswine. Because, like, now I can just Dynamax my Metagross, right? I don't think... I'm just worried about Helping Hand, like, one-shotting us here. But I'm down to go for Fly onto the Whimsicott slot, Dynamax, and just Steel Spike into Mamoswine. Actually, a better play was probably to have Max Guarded Metagross. Well, they don't have Eject Button, at least, but Helping Hand... I don't think Max Guard should one-shot Metagross. Like, Metagross is just so bulky. But if it's Life Form Mammal with Helping Hand, then you'll KO Metagross. So that's my fear right now. And that's the thing about Whimsicott. It gets so many good moves. I could have gone Brutal Swing Max Steel Spike last turn. That would have just, like, won us the game, I feel like, if Mamoswine goes down. Well, not necessarily, because they probably have Moltres in the back, too. So Torkoal Venu in the back is good to have right now against Whimsicott and Regieleki. But the question is whether Metagross survives this turn. Okay, they just go Moonblast. I'm fine with that. I don't know if you even KO with AV. Doesn't KO, and they actually just activated Defiant as well. So that's funny. Did they Quake? Yeah. I don't think this KOs, right? Yeah, it was close, but not enough. So interestingly enough, I have a +2 Fly now coming my opponent's way as well. And I knock out the Mamoswine, and I have Torkoal Venu in the back. However, it's not like Torkoal... Like, I expect my opponent... It was Life Form, by the way. Wow. So if my opponent actually doubled up onto Metagross, it would have been a KO. But, yeah, I can't blame them for thinking they'd pick up the knockout there. Okay. So we have Torkoal Venu in the back. It's just if you have Galarian Moltres as your last one, I'm still kind of worried. But at least this next turn I can just Max Guard Fly, KO Whimsicott. Mamoswine's a very good Pokemon, I think, in the meta right now, too, and it's kind of underused. Alright. Regieleki comes back out. That's fine. I mean, they probably Volt Switch, right? Honestly, I think we just Max Guard this turn. I don't mind playing it safe. Well, even if Whimsicott switches out, like, something comes in and takes in a +2 Fly, which actually does sizable damage, right? Against a non-Maxmon from Max Attack Thundurus. Pretty good. So, okay, they actually are going to switch out. It is Moltres. Moltres. Well, Fly should do a lot of damage here. Maybe I should have sacked Metagross there, actually, to get the free switch in. Oh! It's almost a KO. I just activated Berserk, though. Okay. Shoot. I should have sacked Metagross, because I think they can get another Tailwind up. Yeah, if I sack Metagross... Actually, no, it wouldn't have made much of a difference, right? Yeah. I think I might still get swept by Moltres now. Just not ideal. Unless they don't Volt Switch here, but you think you always Volt Switch. Yeah, I mean, I'll just Brutal Swing here and... Hailstorm. Activating Berserk may have cost us here. It's gonna be close, but I think it favors my opponent right now. Mainly because I wasn't able to deny them another Tailwind. Like, maybe just going for Iron Tail with Thundurus would have been better, because then I just KO the Whimsicott. Yeah. Because the thing is, now you can just click Tailwind Fiery Wrath this next turn. Oh. That's a sick animation, though. If I have to lose to something, at least it's to a really cool animation. This was an interesting match where, like, I feel like there wasn't... we just took on a lot of pressure, and like I didn't get enough out of my Dynamax, and I feel like my max is more important than my opponent's max in this game. Yeah. If you're my opponent then here, what do you do? Actually, I mean, I don't know if you KO'd the Torkoal. Because like what I could do is just protect Burning Jealousy. Because I think the Venu is the threat, right? And I don't think a Berserk... I don't think you KO the Torkoal. I think you have to tail on the Whimsicott here. Yeah. Question is whether I can survive an attack from the... Yeah, they go Fiery Wrath. Okay. I feel like we survived this, but... Yeah, nice. As long as we avoid a flinch, I actually think we're good. But it's a lot to ask for, I know. Nice. Okay, does that pick up the double KO? Woof! Let's go. Okay, I think we're good then. That was a really intense game. The reason I went Protect there was because I thought like you might Air Slash into Venusaur, and if you knock me out there, I lose the 1v1 against Regieleki. And I don't even know if +1 Air Slash KOs Torkoal, to be honest. Like, Moltres is just kind of underwhelming damage-wise, even if it's at +1. I think just Earth Power now, and... I think Yawn is actually the correct play here. Just out of an abundance of caution. Because if I'm getting a Yawn off, then I can always double protect the next turn, right? Wait. Oh, okay. I didn't know how much that would do, but, I mean, Venu is pretty fast, so... That gave me... That scared me for a moment. I was going to ask myself if double protecting is the correct play there, but if anything, that just stalls out my own Sun, so I don't want to do that. But because we have Life Orb Earth Power, yeah, I don't think... That's the problem with Regieleki, right? You only have Electric type attacks, so you're not really doing very much to me there, but that was an intense set of games. Yeah, the one game we lost was close, too. I think... I'm trying to think where I really messed up in that one. It was just the Earthquake turn. Like, if I just double protected there, I think we have a pretty good shot at winning. And I also... That was the one where my opponent just stalled out my Dynamax really nicely and then, like, got their Dynamax in a perfect position. So I need to utilize that a little bit better. But definitely a fun series of games. And hopefully it shows you how viable Thundurus Metagross is as a duo. I'm eager to feature some more games with this combo. Unfortunately, Regidrago did not really get to come out and do very much. But like I said, that's kind of the nature of this team where I feel like maybe it comes out in, like, 10 to 15% of games. In those games, it's really effective. But in the rest, you can't really bring it because of team preview problems. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this episode though, so I hope you enjoy. Thank you as always for watching. If you enjoyed, please share, support by leaving a like, and I'll see you next time. All right, peace.